Okay, Hermits, I've got a review here comparing the G3, this little guy, versus the Razer Abyssus, this little guy. Now straight away looking at them you can virtually see that they are the same size pretty much, like almost identical. It's scary how much like the size of the things are just both almost identical, you know. So I mean, holding them up like that, you can just see like they're almost identical in size. I mean, so there we go. So size, comparing them size wise, they're both practically the same. Next comparison would be which feels the best to hold in your hand. So we feel both of them, and they feel virtually the same. Like the grip is the same because the size is practically the same. So size and grip is virtually the same on both these mouses. Now this is where the difference separate. I like the Logitech's cord. It's a lot stronger and durable, I think, than the Razer's cheap little one. So the next point is the Logitech weighs 87 grams. So I did weigh it on my little scales. So the Logitech weighs about 87 grams, and this little guy weighs about 66 grams. So the Logitech's got that little bit extra weight, and it does matter. It really, like, you can feel the difference if you hold these two mouse. You can feel the difference between the two. I mean, the Logitech just has that good solid weight. And I guess another thing about the Logitech G3 is that it feels fantastic. Like, it's solid. Like, you can really, like, I could probably crunch this mouse and it won't budge, you know. Like, it feels really solid. So this one here, you know, I'm afraid if I crush it, I could crush it with my hands. It feels a bit cheap, you know. So I'm not gonna really compare. The Logitech has these two buttons because, I mean, if you're buying the Razer, you already know that it doesn't have those two buttons. So that's really not a real big thing in my books, because when you're playing your RTS games, you don't really use these two buttons anyway. So, you know, this is strictly for RTS and what you're going to use this mouse for, gaming, right? So the next thing is the click on the Logitech is fantastic. I love the Logitech's click. It's really like crunchy, and you just hit it and you know you're clicking, as opposed to the Razer, you click that and it kind of feels like you got a bit of cushion there. So I'd prefer the Logitech's click over the Razer's. And tracking, they're both as accurate as each other. I mean, yeah, they're both accurate. They've both got this, you know, 2000 DPI, which is all I need for a 1080p monitor. So DPI wise, they match up the same. Hertz wise, they both got 1000 hertz polling, so they both got the same response time. However, if you did have a 30-inch monitor, you probably might want to get this because it's got 3500 DPI, as opposed to the G3 Max is out at 2000 DPI. Lastly, I mean, I can't really, don't know what else to say, but basically I prefer the G3. It's a solid mouse and the click is really nice on it, and it's no frills. I think I'm one who doesn't really prefer these fancy lights, because I mean, it's just a waste of power anyway, and I'm not really a fanboy of all those fancy lights on your computer. So the Logitech G3 is just quality. I mean, you pick it up, you can tell it's a quality gaming mouse. So the Razer, it feels like they're kind of skimped on the weight, and the click is kind of like a cushiony click that I can see, and probably the way I game, I click pretty, you know, like hard and kind of bash. I can see this click wearing out in probably a year or so. So yeah, so basically sum it up, Logitech, they both have the same size. Click on the Logitech I think is better. The weight on the Logitech's better, and the cord on the Logitech is better. Sensor wise, I can't really distinguish the difference. Yeah, the sensors are both practically the same. So yeah, overall I prefer the Logitech G3. So leave any comments, guys, if you got any comments. I'm not a fanboy of either, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. So that's it, guys. Thanks, and just leave any comments and I'll reply.